Washington Irving based The Headless Horseman of Sleepy Hollow on a real haunting with many witnesses. A Revolutionary War-era Hessian soldier's ghost really is looking for his head, which was blown off by an artillery shell. He searches every night, over and over again. He's got to put himself back together, reunite his head and his heart so that he can rest. If you get in his way, he'll scare you to death. Kate Batts, aka the Bell Witch, an early 19th century apparition haunting a Tennessee estate, was reported on in publications such as the Saturday Evening Post and inspired books and movies including The Blair Witch Project. Kate was killed by a cruel overseer/lover and began terrorizing the living. Andrew Jackson sent soldiers to investigate. They were scared away. Kate might be behind several murders, famously being referenced in the Clenard and Burgess trial of 1868. Abraham Lincoln was shot in the head just as his plans for a unified nation began to be realized. He's haunted the White House ever since, often observed pulling on his boots or leaning on a fireplace mantel. A succession of luminaries reported contact. Eleanor Roosevelt felt him. Queen Wilhelmina fainted when she saw him. Winston Churchill spoke to him. Harry Truman was woken up by him. Lyndon Johnson sought his advice and was told, "Don't go to the theater." Zona Hester Shue, aka the Greenbrier Ghost. Her 1897 death was declared accidental. Then her ghost appeared to her mother, Mary Jane, and described how husband Edward broke her neck. Mary Jane convinced authorities to exhume Zona. An autopsy verified the ghost's account. Edward was found guilty of murder. This is the only case in American legal history, so far, in which a ghost helped convict a murderer. Dora Dansell, aka the Lady in Red, was a New Orleans prostitute murdered in 1906. Her killer was never caught. However, one of her regular tricks was found dead from a heart attack. He died of fright. Was he her killer? Ever since, scores of Big Easy hookers swear Dora's apparition warns them of trouble. She appears covered in blood and tells working gals to avoid certain men. She keeps very busy. Magician Harry Houdini tried to contact his deceased mother, and spiritualist charlatans tried to fool him. He became a debunker of fake seances and related scams. Before he died on Halloween 1926, he promised to make contact from the afterlife and gave his wife Bess a secret code. On the 10th anniversary of his death, Bess held a seance with the psychic Arthur Ford, who, in a trance, conveyed that secret code. A sadistic ghost possessed Ronald DeFeo Jr., who murdered his parents and siblings in their house in Amityville, New York in 1974. Later, the Lutz family bought the house. When they moved in, a vicious haunting commenced, eventually driving them out. Their story inspired the movie The Amityville Horror. The facts of this haunting, and another in the town of Nyack, were so undeniable that New York's real estate law was changed to compel sellers to reveal hauntings to potential buyers, and buyers can recover deposits placed on houses alleged to be haunted, the so-called Ghostbusters ruling. Toni Ann Homan. Toni was my old lady for a long time. She was beautiful and smart and hot and wild. We had a rocky relationship with lots of ups and downs, but we loved each other very much. Our daughter Christine kept us from going too crazy. Toni was very spiritual and a fan of the clairvoyant Edgar Cayce. We attended seances. One of them was successful, we believed. Who knows? We constantly broke up and got back together. The last time we split, she moved into her mom's house near Hancock, New York. Her mom didn't like me. Toni and I called each other frequently at first, But as time went on, we spoke less and less. Either we argued or we cooed. I love you. I miss you. Let's try it again. I wanted her back. That didn't happen. The last time we spoke, in October 1984, we argued. It was bad. Before I hung up on her, I barked, "Drop dead." At 4 a.m. on my birthday, January 11th, 1985, I was standing in the kitchen. Suddenly, something ice cold passed through me. I knew right away what it was, the classic sign of ghostly contact. Freezing cold for a few seconds and then gone. Instant awareness of a supernatural presence, unmistakably. I figured the apartment was haunted by a former resident. What else made sense? What could I do? Nothing. The incident receded in my mind and was forgotten. In March 1985, the dreams began. First night, Tony appears. We're sitting at a table. She's trying to tell me something. I can't understand her. And then she looks at me and her eyes are dead. And then I woke up. Next night, in a hospital room, there's a cart with mops and brooms. She's on the bed. She's trying to tell me something. I can't understand what she's saying. Something's very wrong. And then I woke up. Next night, a nightmare. I don't know where we are. Tony's trying to tell me something, and this time I get it. She's gone. She tells me she's buried in St. Paul's Cemetery. And then I woke up in a cold sweat. I jumped out of bed, grabbed the phone, dialed her number. Her mom answers. I ask, "Is Tony there?" She replied, "Tony's dead." She said, "Tony was in a car wreck, driving alone, skidded on ice, went over a cliff, into a river. It took hours to rescue her. She passed away shortly thereafter." When? January 10th, 11 p.m., she said. That was a few hours before I felt that cold rush on my birthday. I asked where Tony is buried. Her mom replied, "St. Paul's Cemetery." Now that I know there's life after death, I gotta get ready for my own ghosthood. I've begun my descent. I gotta get my affairs in order so that I can rest. I don't want to be one of these ghosts who is looking for something, or has unfinished business, or has a score to settle, or a message to deliver, or a warning. I want eternal peace, not eternal BS. That won't be easy. Who's waiting for me? A few people with whom I had problems, bad problems, who checked out before me, for whatever reason. Are they going to want revenge? My first wife and I had abortions. Ghosts of the aborted are really bad. Talk about a score to settle. That's going to be rough. Will Tony be there? Is she waiting for me? Does she love me? Will we be together again? She'll know everything I've done, everything I've thought. Was her visitation a manifestation of adoration, or a warning, or worse? Tony, each wave breaks upon the shore only once. Each heart breaks forevermore only once. Well, here we are at death's door. Let's see what's on the other side.
Welcome to the Ghost Museum, full of apparitions, phantoms, spirits, spooks, and you. We collected your memories, sensations, experiences, mental pictures, inner visions, flashes of insight, ideas, thoughts, fears, desires, delusions, hallucinations, phobias, urges, knowledge, wisdom, feelings, hang-ups, etc. We'll get you checked in ASAP. While you're waiting, you can go through these boxes of stuff from your life. Be patient. We'll be with you in about 1 billion, billion, billion years.